Welcome to the No More Drafts podcast. I'm Louise Corinwe, and this is the podcast for people who are tired of slow progress, tired of overthinking things and waiting to feel ready before taking action. Each week, we unpack the fears, the patterns, and stories that keep you stuck in ways you may not even realize, so that you can take your next step forward, your next courageous action, and move towards doing your life's work and building a life that's bigger than fear. Together, we move you out of perpetual draft mode and into done mode. So, what are we talking about today? Today, we're exploring procrastination a little bit more because there are a lot of misconceptions around procrastination, and to misunderstand it is to not really be able to navigate it properly. And as you know, on this podcast, I'm all about helping people bring their unique contribution to life, helping people make real progress in their goals and in their dreams and ideas, to come out of just being in constant draft mode and enter done mode as just a habit, as a way of being, to learn that art of execution and to have fun while doing it, as I mentioned in the last episode. But when I hear people talk about procrastination or talk to people who procrastinate, they often just tell the person to stop. Just stop procrastinating, get out of this mode, just go and do it. Just do it, right? Is what they say. As though it's that easy, and as though people who procrastinate are doing it on purpose. In reality, procrastination is a response. You're not just procrastinating, you're responding. And what you're responding to is the gap that exists between what you think something needs to be and what you feel you will actually be able to do. The bigger the gap, the heavier that goal or ambition feels. And the heavier that feels, the more unease it creates. And that unease leads to avoidance. So procrastination is often a response to that unease, not a lack of discipline. Not because you don't know that you should do the thing. You know that you need to do X, Y, Z. But how can you move forward when you feel that unease and there's no outlet for it as well? Something else that can exacerbate this unease is the meaning you've attached to that task or goal and ambition. For instance, you might be subconsciously saying, oh, this has to be really good. So that makes that gap I spoke about even wider, right? Because the end product, the end goal has to be brilliant immediately as well. You can't get there over time. It has to immediately be good. And you might have attached other meaning to the task, such as it may be a reflection of you, of your value and your worth. And that in turn also makes the gap between what you think this goal needs to look like in its end state and what you feel you'll actually be able to do. So if procrastination is also operating as protection for you, protection from being judged, protection from feeling exposed or not feeling good enough, then you're not just doing the task, or you're not just trying to do the task. You're carrying your standards, your identity, and your fears into the task. So of course it's going to be hard to start. And yes, procrastinating can protect you from disappointment of it not working out. It can be a great way to make you feel good as well while you're trying to avoid that disappointment, because a lot of procrastination can be or can look productive. It can look like you're actually doing great things, so much so that you may not even realize you're doing it. I remember when I was much younger, I used to overplan. I would plan everything out neatly and perfectly because I thought it would help me do the task well. And sometimes that's necessary. But how do you know unless you properly evaluate that? It's not always necessary. And sometimes the plan can emerge over time. As you progress, as you move forward, the plan starts to take proper shape because you get clear on what you actually need to even be doing and why and what tasks are most valuable. So planning and doing, I believe, are always much more correlated and in synergy than we tend to like to think and then we tend to talk about. The two are much more connected and can happen simultaneously, or at least in sync with one another. But if you are feeling that unease that comes from all the things I've described, but you also want to feel good about that unease, you may procrastinate in a productive way because at least you're doing something. So naturally, with all this pressure, all this heightened expectation on your shoulders, you will, of course, freeze. You will, of course, delay. You will overthink, overplan, and avoid it, which are all part of the response that we call procrastination. The more you're aware of this, the more likely it is that you can actually push past it. But because most are not aware, the emphasis becomes more on how can I force myself to do this? But that's not actually the best response to procrastination. The real shift is finding out what kind of unease am I trying to protect myself from here? This question creates awareness instead of shame. And so many of the questions, instructions, and directions around procrastination only generate more shame and more fear, actually, all of which only prevent you from going forward and doing what needs to be done. But if you can stop for a moment and ask that question, what unease am I trying to protect myself from here? Is it the unease of failure, of disappointment, of other people's judgment, of getting it wrong, of not liking the outcome myself or not feeling that the outcome is good enough? Once you can define and identify what is the unease you're trying to protect yourself from through procrastination, you can name it. And once you name something, the power it has over you can shrink. It weakens, it reduces. And in that state, when you can see the unease that you're protecting yourself from, when you can see it for what it is, that it's insignificant, that it has no real power over you, that it can't stop you from moving forward, you can start to strategize and move forward without that fear, without that unease controlling you. Awareness also helps you separate the task, the goal or the dream you have, from the meaning that procrastination has made you attach to it. Procrastination makes you often attach your identity to it, your worth to it, or fear the potential repercussions and outcomes if it doesn't quite go right. And I encourage you to use this awareness as an opportunity to reframe the meaning you've attached to your goals and dreams. One of the ways I encourage my clients to reframe and redefine achievement is to reposition it more as their unique contribution, as their purpose, as them just being them. And in the process of being them, using all their strengths, their wisdom, their insights, their skills to contribute in some meaningful way. And that's all it is. It doesn't define you. Failing or making a mistake does not dictate your identity and how valuable of a person you are and whether you deserve to be here on this earth. So creating a sense of detachment, disconnecting your sense of peace, your identity, and your worth from it will free you up to stress less, and it will free you up from the unease that is created when you make the goal or the dream this huge, big thing that has to be perfect, that has to look good, that has to be done completely brilliantly. And the reality of it is that when you are free from that, you most likely will produce something brilliant. But it's coming from a different place. Instead of coming from the place of proving worth, proving value, it's coming from a place of inspiration and contribution. And that's how I encourage my clients to see whatever dream, goal, idea they're trying to press forward in. It's about inspiration and contribution. And I spoke in a recent video I did on my YouTube channel, my Louise Corinne YouTube channel, about some questions and reflections I take clients through who can fear the worst, who fear the worst outcome. And it's called the 3 Ps of optimism. I won't go through it now. I'll link the video below for you. But those 3 Ps of optimism are also incredibly helpful when you are afraid of the outcome or not reaching the goal or the task or making a mistake or people judging you. One of the things I mention is that fear, that unease is made worse or is worsened by the idea that the outcomes will be permanent if you get it wrong. And we subconsciously are thinking that I'll never be able to bounce back from this. And the reason I know we're thinking that is because we're acting like that. We're acting as though if we go for this goal, if we try to make progress in this dream we have and we get it wrong or we mess up, that somehow it will be a permanent stain on our lives and we will never be able to recover from it. But we know that we will, of course, but this subconscious unease is telling us a different story. So please do go and check out that video. The 3 Ps is from someone called Martin Seligman's work, and it's simple but really helpful for reorienting perspective and getting awareness and clarity to move you forward. And I use it for clients who are struggling with this procrastination and being stuck. So the next time you catch yourself delaying something or avoiding a task that you know you should really do, don't immediately ask, what's wrong with me? Ask, what am I protecting myself from? Exactly. See you in the next one. The No More Drafts podcast is about movement, not perfection. So before you go, what can you move out of draft mode this week and into imperfectly done? Even if it's a mess, and even if you don't feel ready yet. And if you want more support, come and join me on YouTube, where you'll find me as Louise Corinwe, and also follow the No More Drafts podcast, which is on YouTube as well. And if you want live community support and accountability with group coaching from me, join the Done Mode Collective by signing up to my newsletter. And most importantly, if this episode helped you in any way, don't overthink it. Just share it with someone whose potential is way too big to stay stuck in their head.